Okay, so I guess we can start just by, just the introduction. This is our first time doing this at dropshipping.com. So it's exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking, to be honest. Just setting everything up and making sure everything looks good and sounds good. But we are very excited to start essentially a very new kind of knowledge sharing that is through these interviews and kind of podcast style episodes. So we are very excited to have you guys as our first guests. First of all, because of your really kind of unique experience, both in dropshipping yourselves and then helping other dropshippers grow, but also because you are long-term friends, so it puts the pressure off just a little bit. So I guess you can just start by introducing yourselves, say a little bit more about you and your experience.
Hello, guys. So we're happy, of course, to be here with dropshipping. I will start first. Sorry,
Yep.
will be second because you're older and you need to start.
No problem at all.
So first, I started with before I know everything about this internet stuff and all kind of things. I was used to flip mobile phones. So I started learning marketing through experience, not through books. So my journey started there. After that, I went on Digital Marketing Academy. Then I chose PPC, and now we're here.
Okay, thank you. And Stola, your turn now. No
Hi.
escaping it.
I didn't say hi. Yeah, so I first let me just mention my name. It's Stole because it's very easy to mispronounce. As far as my journey into this whole world goes, it started maybe a decade ago. Ever since I figured out that the internet has a lot of stuff, to learn. So the first thing I've ever searched online is how to make money. That was the start into all of this, which helped me discover like a whole array of online businesses to start. I dabbled in a lot of them, but dropshipping was the first that actually was successful for me. It took a while, a lot of time, a lot of money too. You have to invest, you have to learn from your mistakes, but it worked out for the great. I learned a lot, which is why I transitioned into the marketing space to help others.
I remember,
Awesome.
Stole, when you were building your first ecom store back then.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure. Philip knows all
Everyone.
the all the
Yeah,
all the background. Everything that was happening on the other side.
yeah, it was
uh,
very interesting. He was talking about it all the time, and
yeah.
when he saw results, I was like, "Wow, man, you really did it," you know. And I was like, "Let me learn a little bit about this." It
awesome.
was
So
great
yeah,
times.
for everyone that just joined us, I will reintroduce you guys. So today on our live session, we have Filip and Stola, who are experienced dropshippers, but then turn agency founders, and now they co-run their agency, Adiku. I'm sorry if I mispronounced
Yep.
it. Feel free to correct me. Okay, great. And it's essentially an agency that specializes in digital advertising, so PPC and other things in that range. And we invited you guys to talk about everything dropshipping, but also kind of shed a little bit more light on digital advertising, because that is such a key part of succeeding in dropshipping. And it's also something that a lot of beginners, especially those that have like no experience in digital advertising, going into dropshipping, it is such a big challenge. And we get so many questions in our DSCom Hub community about ads, especially. So when we were thinking about who to bring on, you guys were like the no-brainer first choice, and you know that because we've talked about it. So I'm super excited for this session and everything you guys are going to share. As you know, I have prepared some grilling questions. I'm going to ask you, the things that everyone wants to know, everything from just running a dropshipping store, but then also, what mistakes most beginners make in ads and how to avoid them. So um, I suggest we just jump straight into it since we're already 5 minutes in. So if anyone joins us past this point, they'll miss the introductions, but it's their loss. So,
Yep.
first, I actually just wanted to ask you what inspired you to open the agency and kind of start this route in your lives?
Philip, wanna go first again, or should I?
Okay, it's different paths both of our way. So first we started working online as freelancers, of course. Uh, after after years, we saw that we have a chance to help many more people to get more sales and boost their e-com store and all that kind of stuff. So first, I was thinking about opening an agency, but I didn't have an experience to manage team, every that kind of stuff. So I was overwhelming. Then me and Stole were drinking coffee one time, and he asked me the same question that I was willing to ask him to help people more. I don't know the Stole's way, but that's my way.
Stola, do you agree with this story?
Yeah, definitely. But what's crazy about me and Philip is that we've known each other for quite a long time, and Adico is actually the first thing we've done together because we've done a lot of similar businesses, different businesses, but it was all separate. We were doing
Yeah,
dropshipping at the same time, but that was also separate. And after we started the agency, we started a few stores together to kind of expand on our experience. And I can't explain enough how well we work together.
Awesome.
It's
yeah,
a click.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you guys are such long-term friends, and I would say also like in terms of your interests and the things you like do and talk about, you're also very similar. And I think
Yeah.
that is something that a lot of beginner dropshippers, especially younger ones, when they find that kind of friend and they start that business together. And I've read so many stories like that. So it's very interesting that you guys, maybe not in dropshipping, but eventually you found your way to kind of partner and use your complementary skills to build a real business together and help many more people with your skills.
yeah.
So now I am going to take you to the back when you were kind of doing the same thing but apart. And I'm going to ask you how you started with dropshipping and what was that like?
Oh my god. Okay, Story, you can start first.
Yeah, my story is actually quite simple. I even remember the first product I sold. It was, I can't remember how many years back, but it was one of those posture fixers. Maybe you know them. They were really trending at that time. But I didn't really know what was trending, what worked. I just picked a product. I saw this is good. I can make some really good images from this, for the ads. Like ads were way different back then. So I picked a product. I found Shopify. I don't know how I found it. I just Googled how to make an e-commerce store, how to make a dropshipping store. I made the store. I watched a bunch of videos on how to run your own ads. I can't remember who it was. It was probably by some popular guys who were teaching dropshipping at that time. I made some ads. I ran them. I was very surprised that I got a few sales, like maybe 2 or 3 days. Like I wasn't profitable by far. I did make a few dollars, to drink coffee with Philip. But that journey actually ended kind of bad because as soon as I started seeing a bit of success, in dropshipping, I got really sick and I couldn't focus on that anymore. So maybe the next 3 or 4 months, I paused it all and I didn't do anything for those 3 or 4 months.
Oh
I call it
wow.
big depression in my life. But yeah, that was also a good experience at the end. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's what I believe in.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And wow, you got
Yes.
lucky so early on.
Yeah,
Like, and it's like they say, like sometimes when you get like lucky in the beginning, then like your road ahead is actually so much harder.
that's
So
very,
I
very
guess
true.
that's
It's very
definitely true
good
in
that I
your
got
case.
lucky. Yeah, because I wasn't the type of person that held strong back then. I was the type of person who gave up on anything that didn't work. But because I got those few sales, it made me wanna get back into it again. Gave me the motivation I needed. Thankfully,
You're happy about that?
yeah, yeah, very lucky.
My first store, I failed my first store. It was so bad.
That's the common way.
Yes, I thought like everyone else, like it's everyone is talking on these gurus online. It's so easy to make 10K in a month with drop shipping, this blah 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 blah. But when you actually try it, it was not that much easy. Stola had like he had an advantage here because he was doing copywriting. I mean, he started learning about that, and he knew a little bit more about like how to present the product. How to describe the product, how to attract the right audience. I was like more to only advertise it and make a pre-qualification. So I didn't think that people can research about the product and see that it's not correct. So yeah, the first store I felt. The second one, it was great until you came in a point where your ads are not working. You need to change something, and I
Yeah.
didn't have experience, so it was going down, and I just paused the store, and after that I deleted. So after 2 years I had we started working again, but for other people. So I saw that it's still working, and I know I can help somebody. And I said, like, why I don't do it by myself for me? So
Awesome.
yeah, and we started again. So now it's great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I really love that you touched on that note that, like everyone who's in the public eye right now is just, always promoting this idea that you can start dropshipping and get rich in a week. And, at dropshipping.com, I think one of our like top priorities in everything that we do, all the content that we produce is like we really want to combat that because
Yeah.
drop shipping is relatively easy to start, but all these like false promises make a lot of people feel like, if they don't see results in a week, immediately demotivated, like Stola said, when something doesn't work out immediately, you just want to quit. So I actually wanted to ask you, both of you, in terms of your past experience and now having worked with so many other drop shippers as their agency, what advice would you give people to just kind of stick it out and stay motivated in the beginning when you have that like huge learning curve, when you're figuring everything out on your own and then your ads are not working and then your copywriting is kind of crappy? So what do you suggest people kind of do or tell themselves to kind of keep going and keep trying, and what to focus on to actually get to like where Stola got eventually, which is his six-figure store, which is kind of everyone's kind of like goal and dream when they enter dropshipping.
Yeah. So I will start first for the paid
Okay.
advertising. So a lot of we all know this. Maybe so many of us are avoiding it. When you create your first Google Ads account, so the first the very first message that pop-ups on your account is saying that in the first 2 weeks don't expect anything because the campaigns will be in the learning phase. But everyone is expecting in the first 2 weeks to get a single sale, to waste their money all on that campaign, and everyone is getting upset. After we're humans and we want to see results very fast. We want to make everyone is looking for fast money, all that kind of stuff. But the first 2 weeks are very important. First of all, to not spend your whole budget and to not overspend, like keeping it on a very low budget, just to let Google know which audience are okay for your website, which audience are staying on the website and are searching through the website. No, just click and leave the page. That's bots. We all know that there are a lot of bots there, and the first 2 weeks very low, spend very low.
So
Stola.
your point is basically, hang in there. My advice would be what I've learned throughout the years is you always have something that you can leverage. So I know that a lot of guys and girls starting out in dropshipping are actually very young, and the biggest motivator is always making money, either as a side hustle or turning it into a huge business, making a lot of profit from it. So if you're younger, you probably have a lot of time to leverage. So I'd suggest not cashing out all of your money instantly. Otherwise, you should spend it. You should spend it on learning, learning about dropshipping, about advertising. Philip is right that paid ads like on Google and on Facebook are the quickest way, to see a profit. But if you don't have a lot, I mean a decent amount to spend for the ads to learn and to invest to tweak the ads a bit, you're not going to see very good results. So if you have time, leverage that. You can always learn different strategies, to promote your store, to advertise it, to brand it, which is actually, maybe we'll get to that. Branding is a huge part of dropshipping now. It's actually what you need to focus on a lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that you touched on the point that it's like, yeah, you do need to stick it out, but your motivation shouldn't necessarily be like make a lot of money as quickly as possible, because especially when you're young, and you have that kind of time is money. So
Yeah.
you can leverage the amount of hours you can spend per day, and even with a lower marketing budget, like advertising budget, you could still see results, but you have to leverage that time. So for example, if you reach out to like 100 influencers a day, you're still going to get something, right? So it's not just about like the amount of money you have. If you can leverage your time, you can still see results. And I think that's a really important message, especially for young people who have that time to
Yeah,
hear that it is possible. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
Definitely.
you don't need a lot of money, but if you have a little and you end up wasting it, that's the problem. Because without learning, how to spend it, you end up wasting it, which is the biggest problem here.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I did want to just go a little bit deeper on this topic because honestly, like, especially with drop shipping, there's this whole like cloud of ambiguity because there's like so much like buzz going on around it. And a lot of people do perceive it as a scam, unfortunately, even though it's a very legitimate business model. And especially with the lower entry costs, it's definitely more accessible for young people, especially to enter and try. So I do want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on this? So they say, and there is data that shows that between 18 and 19 dropshippers or dropshipping stores in general fail. So having worked with so many dropshippers and your own experience, have you noticed any like differentiating factors? And this could be like personality or anything really that make those top 10 to 20% actually make it to a profitability status and then grow from there. Like what makes a great dropshipper in your experience?
In my experience, it's choosing what and who to listen to, because we all know you have a lot of information today. I mean, I've done it when I was learning about any business, not just drop shipping. I used to, in the old days, I used to just go online, find the first resource I could, I mean, use the first resource I could find about it, and spend hours learning, getting the information. But that's not very effective, especially if you don't want to waste, time. What's more effective is actually spending a little bit of time at first on researching people who've actually done what you want to do. I mean, that's what we tell the people that we work with. You should definitely listen to people who have done what you want to do. That goes the same
Yeah.
for friends, family. If someone hasn't done what you're trying to do, it's not a very good idea to listen to them.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you need to do.
Yeah. But the second thing you need to do is to reach that, as you're saying, Tina, we call it the sweet spot. Like when you reach the 10 to 20%, whom actually made it, when you will see that actually there are people who build brand, not who sell products, but who build brand. So behind every product is a brand, which actually the brand is selling the products inside the brand. But we all know that people are looking to just sell the products. They don't care about the brand. They at all.
Yeah.
So focus on the brand. Try to build the brand. Imagine the brand, how you are willing to represent the brand to your uh, customers, and go in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
my.
I think both of your points are so amazing, especially like Philip, what you said about brands and branding. I think that is something that especially a lot of beginners miss, because even like from a customer's perspective, and we all have that, we all buy stuff online, right? So if
Yeah,
you just look at yourself and your own behavior, people always pay so much more money for a brand. Like you can get the same product, but it's because it's from a brand, it's because it's from a
Yeah.
brand that makes you trust this brand. You're willing to spend more money, and ultimately, I mean, that's the dropshipping game, right? Sell something for an upsell so you can have that profit and the difference. So yeah, that's a really good point. And later on, I'm gonna ask you a couple more questions about that. But first, I actually wanted to ask maybe a little bit more like Stola from his experience, but also Philip, if you have something to chime in on this, feel free. So these are like the big questions, right? One of them is, do you have any advice on choosing like a niche or a product, especially when starting out? Like, have you noticed something that's like, let's say, trending right now, or you just, have these tools that you used in your own journey? This is a question especially for beginners that are just starting out looking for that niche or that product to just you know get going and get somewhere. And yeah, you got lucky in the beginning, but not everyone does, unfortunately. So
yeah,
can you share some information about that?
Yeah. Well, that actually goes well together with with branding, what we've talked about. But as far as picking a niche goes, I would definitely advise picking something you're interested in or you love talking about it. Because if you want to build a brand and if you want to build a store that you care about and turn it into a real business, you have to like it at least. You have to know about it. At least a little if you want to help other people buy your product or or whatever is you're selling. So yeah, my advice is to pick one of the niches, the popular dropshipping niches. You don't need to go into something crazy or unique or reinvent the wheel, as they say. Just pick one of the popular niches that are in dropshipping, and you can even niche down if you want. So for example, if you go into the, let's say, home improvement niche, you can find a lot of little sub niches there that you can niche down and eventually expand if you want.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then what about when it comes to supplier selection? I know this is another thing that especially beginners struggle with so much. It's like, should I pick this supplier or that one? Should I go to a platform or try to negotiate things myself? Should I go with one supplier or multiple suppliers? It's like there's just so many questions about suppliers.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice on that topic, especially for people like starting out, and just this whole thing is just so ambiguous? It's like, how do I do this? How do I get this wheel rolling?
Yeah, well, picking a supplier can be very difficult because, as you mentioned, you don't really know what to do. You don't know who to go with, where to find it, where to find the good suppliers. So in the early days, I know that a lot of people, even me, were using AliExpress and websites like that you can instantly source the products for very cheap and sell them. But eventually, a lot of people were very annoyed with platforms like AliExpress because of the long shipping times and the unreliable support. Because you do end up missing some items, some get refunded, some don't arrive there, or anything can happen. So today it's much better to go with reliable suppliers or even platforms that supply products. They have warehouses and they supply a whole range of products in every single niche, and that's actually very helpful to find your niche, because once you make an account on those supplier platforms, like some of the most popular ones today are Zendrop, Spocket, those types of platforms, you can go into the niche section, and there you have the most popular niches that you can choose for your store. So those two actually go hand in hand very 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 good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good way, especially when starting out, because it eliminates that struggle of, talking to different potential suppliers, and then, you don't even know what to look for, or if there's like a red flag in their communication, and to kind of pick it
Yeah,
out because you're so new, and yet at the same time your business relies so heavily on your supplier, and your store and your brand legitimacy can be like completely ruined if your supplier is just not reliable, stops responding, or whatever happens, because anything could happen and things have happened. So yeah, that's really good advice for people starting out. Going with a platform like that, you have some level of security and just peace of mind, and things are going to be like all right.
it's much
um
simpler and easier too. Because if you end up trying to negotiate, with more unique suppliers, a lot of them actually don't even want to work with complete beginners, because many of those suppliers actually want to see some sales from your store, because if they want to work with you, they want to reassure themselves that you can actually sell their products.
yeah, yeah.
As for the platforms, it's much easier. You simply integrate your store and you start selling. There are still good products. New products come out, all the time. If you can spot trends within your niche, you'll be just fine.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so now we're going on in your guys' expertise, which is, I would say, the third biggest pain point when it comes to starting out with dropshipping, and that has to do with marketing and advertising more specifically. And just to continue this tangent with you, Stola, you are a really great copywriter. That's probably
Thank you.
why you had that success in the beginning, and I know this because we work together, and I genuinely mean it when I say it. Like, I've seen your work. And I guess I just wanted to ask, even though like copywriting, right, it's to some degree, it's just like a skill that some people might have inherently for whatever reason. Maybe they were interested in a language in school, and then they're just kind of good at it. But what is something that you would suggest for beginner dropshippers if they don't feel as strong in this area, something that they can try, or maybe like a hack that they can do when it comes to like ad copies, website headlines, and all of those little words that have the big impact in your business?
Yeah. Okay. So in my experience, I mean, I definitely know that copywriting is actually a very good skill to learn. Even if you're not doing drop shipping, whatever your business is, copywriting will help you. Even when it's talking to people, copywriting is actually a skill that you have to practice. But as for beginners in drop shipping, my biggest tip is to actually research your audience. So the copywriting comes after you found your niche, your product. Well, who after that you need to find out everything you can about your audience. So any type of product that you're selling, you have to research, who wants it, who that product helps, what are its biggest benefits. So a lot of people, even I did that on the first try. I talked about a lot of the features. I mean, this is common knowledge in the copywriting industry. So you need to talk to the people, even if you're writing ads copy, even if it's the product description itself. It needs to click. It needs to convince the person that it's worth buying the product. So yeah, a lot of books actually helped me too. I watched a lot of courses on this, but the biggest tip I got is researching your audience, finding out exactly what makes them want the product, which is almost all the time it's emotional triggers, or solving some type of very precise and niche down problem, if your product solves it. So that's a very good, actually that's a very good first product to find. If it solves a very you know niched problem, very specific problem, you can highlight the benefits of the product very well and very easily too.
Yeah, and I think that also like plays really well when it comes to targeting, because the more specific you can get, then you get the bigger payoff, because you're like talking to the right people in their way, expressing something that they care about, or that's their pain point, and then you have that immediate connection to capture their attention.
Yeah.
So, how does that, or does that in any way translate into this AI age and Chat GPT and all of these other tools that are kind of tailored to help dropshippers copyright faster and do this faster and do that and just produce this content. Is there a way to integrate your advice with AI content generation?
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely advise using AI for anything you can. So you don't need to, let it take over all of your tasks, all of your work. You still need to double check things. You still need to go over everything. But if AI can help you save time, then I definitely advise using. I mean, even ChatGPT alone helps with so much stuff, especially part of the research. Giving you inspiration, formulating outlines on what you need to do, what to focus on. It really does help out a lot, and it gets better every day. So, yeah, definitely use AI.
Yeah. Do
Would
you
help.
guys, sorry, Philip, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to tell about ChatGPT. So, imagine ChatGPT using like a friend who knows everything about everything. So, like, even ask questions for like, is this okay? Does this make sense? All that kind of stuff. So you can use it
Yeah,
for everything. ChatGPT is
treat it like a
perfect.
person. Treat it like
Yes,
a person. Yeah,
the free
Yeah.
version is perfect. Even the ChatGPT 4, it's also perfect. They're both great.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys use any other like AI tools in your work with ads or just anything in general when it comes to digital marketing?
We worked with couple. As I remember, we used Clade.ai, which
Hmm.
is helping us to edit images on the product. Just you have a glass of product or you're selling a bottle, and just on a blank background, and just it's adding backgrounds, and also shades. It's very advanced. Also, Mid Journey is very great from my experience. I like it. But if you know how to insert the parameters, if you don't
Hmm.
know, it's gonna give you like a very basic, beginner image as what you
Hmm.
imagine in your head.
Can you give like an example of how you would use Midjourney specifically for like e-commerce? Because it's like when I think Midjourney, it's like enter random words and it gives you like an image. But how do you like make it give you an image you can use in ads or in content?
Yeah, so basically, you first need to tell the Mid Journey the inside the prompt how much the resolution you want to be in your photo, in your design. So
Mhm.
basically, we used Mid Journey for backgrounds, creating on the background. We just add the product later. So there is still a little bit of changes that you're doing. This is very great for designers that you just add like a shade where you can uh, front case your product. So it's
Right,
very great.
right.
Yeah, for background, it's working perfectly. And
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
and
a
also
lot
that's
of things you can do, but
imagine,
yeah, it saves you time. That's the main point.
yes,
You can do
yes.
all of these things. You can hire, other people to do all of these things, but AI really helps make things go faster.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true for sure. I just wanted to let everyone that's watching know that you can leave comments in the side comments section. Ask any question you'd like. About 15 minutes before we wrap up, we're going to turn our attention there. So if there's anything you want to ask Stola and Philip, go ahead, and then we'll include those later. We are also going to be including some questions from the DSCom Hub premium members. I know there's a couple of you watching right now, so I'm getting to it. Don't worry, your questions will be answered. But now I want to turn my attention to Philip, who is kind of the in my mind the one that's like the behind the scenes master of ads. Like you are the one that figures out the targeting and kind of all the little strategies for making the ROI work, especially in your like teamwork. So I guess my first question is the one that's gonna give the most important answer, and that is, what mistakes have you seen people make like most frequently when it comes to PPC ads, and how can we avoid them?
This is something that I consult everyone all the time. As I said on the beginning, I told you that the first 2 weeks are very important to not spend all your money, and also to let know the algorithm on Google and on Facebook to know which audience is the best for your website. After that, you will need a guy like Stole who will do the research and all that other kind of behind the scenes stuff. So you will know what you're doing, or you can do it yourself. You can use ChatGPT as well, as we said. Uh, you can monitor the competitors, what they're doing. So you can find a way how to like represent your product on Facebook if you're doing Facebook ads, or if you're doing Google ads. I see so many people doing this. They just added the product on the website. They imported the product from Spocket, or Zendrop, and it's just like they leave the product as it is. They create the Google Merchant Center and they run the ads with the same headline of the product on the website. So if I'm searching for, let's say, for example, like white glass, and I add like I don't know, for example, 50 millimeters or something about that, like a little bit more of adjectives. And if my product is only like white glass, I will not appear at all. So somebody else will appear with a better SEO because they edited the headlines in the Merchant Center, they did the research, and they choose the right keywords to show when somebody is searching for the product. So everything of that is done in the Google Merchant Center. Also on Facebook, I see also there that people are who have like store with 100 and more products. They want to advertise like on one ad all the products, just like everything. I recommend you choosing like one or maybe two to three products that if you want to like combine A/B test them and see which one will work. Currently, what is working is reels and video formats, especially UGC content. This will help you the most. So Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, we all know about it. It's reels. I mean
Yeah.
TikTok videos. Yeah.
Yeah, great answer. I definitely have seen some of the types of ads you're referring to, and I agree they're just not working. And yeah, but I guess it's that like sort of instinct that when you're starting out and then you feel like, oh wait, but I want to give so many options in my store so that no matter who comes at my store they find something they like. So that's like the train of thought, and then
Yeah.
it's like, but then let me I have so many products, let me advertise like all of them. And you talk a lot about selling, like not selling the product but selling the click. Can you like expand a little bit on that? What does that mean in like a real life scenario?
Yeah, so it looks like this when, uh, for example, you have a product and you're willing to advertise the product, and you just you just add the image of the product and that's it. You leave everything and you just promote the image. No one will be interested to click the product to go on your website where the website is doing the sell. Your advertising, it's only idea to sell the click, so the customer can come on your website, and the website it's where you need to have the funnel to sell the person inside on the website, not from the ads. Everybody is looking to like buy this now, selling offer, like they're creating urgency, but in selling, not to go on the website and check and see what's inside, because on the
Yeah.
website it includes so many benefits, so many options, so many offers where you can actually sell him. If he comes on your website and he like customer shows interest, you can retarget him later if he didn't purchase that day. So you have them in your database and you can use them all the time.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
idea for selling the click.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you because in all my experience with like marketing and even like working with clients, this is one of the most important things to like get everyone on board on, that the point isn't like selling the product, it's selling the emotion behind the product. It's selling it's finding a way to capture somebody's attention. They don't even necessarily need to know what they're, gonna get in the end, but you need to capture their attention because there's so many ads right now. It's like, and they're so easy to skip. You need to make somebody want to read the next word or wait till the video ends. You need to find a way to kind of hack that. So sometimes it's like even about making it like not look like an ad, or something that I saw, like I would say like 2 months ago, there were a couple of ads that just looked like horrible, like really, really bad, like as if they were made on like a 2002 computer, just like terrible graphics. And but it's like it captures your attention because it's like everything is like perfect, perfect, and then you're like, what is this? It looks horrible, let me check it out, and then you click on it and then you're like, oh. So yeah, right now it's definitely like it's a very competitive space, so you have to find a way to sell to the people and not just like promote what you have to offer,
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
and
can
hope
grab
to sell.
attention, yeah, if you can
Yeah.
grab people's attention, that's a very good way to, you know, sell your products.
that's the most important. Tina, you're 100% correct. I missed that to tell that if your ad that you're creating, the video ad, if it looks like an ad, if you're watching and then you know that it's ad, you will not sell it. You will not sell anything from that. People will just avoid it. We all know Instagram, TikTok we are using. When we see now the update on Instagram, you can't even see that it's sponsored. It's very tiny.
Yeah,
And when I see the video, I know in the very first 2 seconds that it's ad, and I watch down and I see sponsored.
yeah,
It,
you instantly check if the
yes, yes,
sponsor
yes.
is there.
It's very different. So try to make the ads as much as natural as possible.
But
It's like a
that's a great
review.
way to learn. You can watch videos like that and learn what not to do. So when you
Yes,
see ads like that, you'll learn how not to start the ad. Well, Tina,
Yeah.
the example that you mentioned is actually known as pattern disruption. So if you can disrupt the normal pattern, you will at least grab people's attention. They might watch your full video. Some of them will even check your store, and that's a great funnel. To start great way to start building your funnel. Disrupt patterns.
Yeah, yeah, well put, definitely. Now we're going to move on to some questions. First of all, for everyone watching that doesn't know, um, one of the ways in which we help dropshippers, especially beginner dropshippers, kind of learn and grow, and like Stola mentioned, just kind of keep things integrated and like in one place, is DSCom Hub. That's our premium knowledge hub and community. And before we organized this session, we asked some of the members over there, the premium members, to ask some questions for you guys. So we're going to check out a few of them, and then we're going to dive into the questions from the webinar viewers. So the first question we got from the community is how to pick the right platform to run your ads. Should I try and see which ones perform? And what if I have a limited budget?
so the best way to burn your money is to try all the platforms. So that's the
Yeah,
best way. I would suggest if you don't have a big budget, I'm saying just to let people know what is big budget in my words. So when you're starting, $1,000, it's a big budget. When you're just starting, I'm talking about like in terms you have every month to spend $1,000. So like let's say you're planning to try this for 5 months, and you have for 5 months each month to spend $1,000. That's a big budget. If you have that kind of budget, you can try Facebook ads definitely, and a little bit on Google ads. So let's say like 20% on Google, not spend it all. But all of this
Right.
depends. In most case scenarios, it's like that: Facebook and Google. But all of that depends if about the product, the niche that you're in, especially if you're in home improvement, Facebook is working, Google is working. If you're in like healthcare, Facebook is working, Google it's a little bit tough, and there are so many like examples about it. But if you research it, you will see. And before starting to advertise a product, you find the right niche, you created your store and everything. Before you
Right.
launch the ads and create the strategy, you can check the competitors always and see what they're doing, where they're advertising, and how long they're keeping their ads active. So that's
Right.
my suggestion.
Yeah, and we actually have a question that's like right up right up to what you were saying in terms of like the budget. It's also from the community, so it's I want to ask how much budget do I need in order to realistically expect a return on investment when starting out with PPC? I've read some people say 500 to 1,000 USD, but some say that it's more like 5,000 at least to start.
It depends. We have seen some scenarios where uh, we have like new drop shippers and they have like 1,000 budget at all, and they say like if we get a sale we can improve, use the money to invest. uh, we're not working with that type of people anymore. It was 1 year ago. So it's really hard to get the first sale, but it's much more hard if you know that somebody else, somebody guru, is telling you that it's so easy.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
saying like what's wrong with me, what's wrong with my store, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first sale you can expect it, like it's so rare to get the first sale in the first 50 to 100 bucks, and after that, like I would say 200, you will start seeing sales.
Oh wow, yeah. That's really good.
I don't
Cuz
know
like
about
some
the
yeah.
Stolas experience, but from my past experience and now from
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. And the more things you're doing right, the less you have to spend. That's on average. It's not always the case, but that's why we advise a lot of beginners to learn as much as they can. Invest in themselves because it does pay out at the end, so that you don't burn your money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much more better if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And it's also like we mentioned this before, it's like very important to know like what you can work with and what your realistic goals are. Because if you can invest a lot of money and let's say like even hire an agency, and it should be like an agency that charges, just a bit to a point where it's uncomfortable, because that's how you know they're good. If you
yeah,
just pay someone, I don't know, like online to do it for you, you're doing yourself a disservice, because if you went out and learned, you'd at least know then. So I guess it's like just asking yourself like, what am I willing to put in? Is it time or is it money? If I have
Yeah.
money and I want faster results, I can go to the experts, or I can just like, if I know what I'm doing, I can put a lot on ads, and obviously you're going to see a faster return. But taking the other way out, where you put in the time to learn, especially if you're just starting and you still don't know anything, yes, it's going to be harder, but at the end you're not wasting as much money, and you're actually going to get some results and learn a lot of things. And that's actually one of like the reasons why we started the ESCOM Hub. It was just like this conversation we've always had in the team, and kind of seeing how the guru space presents drop shipping, and like it's so easy and blah blah blah, and it's like it actually gets people to lose like hope when they don't see the results. And at the same time they're getting information from so many different places, and everyone has like a different strategy when it comes to ads. I'm sure that even you two disagree when it comes to like how to run a certain campaign and how to do something. So it's so much easier when you're a beginner to have like a single point of information and just like try to
Yeah.
follow that, and then down the line when you actually know what you're doing, you can be like, okay, I'm gonna try something different now.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But moving on to another question that I'm sure also a lot of people in the audience want to know the answer to: is there a way to make it without ads, or with a very very small ad budget?
Yeah, I mean there's always the way, especially with organic content. You can definitely sell your products only with organic, but as you mentioned, Tina, in this way you have to invest a lot more time. So that's the hard part, especially for people who don't actually have a lot of time to spend, and especially for people who don't even know anything yet. So the first thing is you have to spend a lot of time in learning about how to do organic traffic, how to it's mostly social media. But the second part is actually creating the videos and the content and doing the research, seeing what videos work. But a little tip I can give you that will save you a lot of time is to actually do what's working. So even I want to make this mistake every day. I want to make something new, something so unique that I think will change the world. But
Okay,
that
I
that
will.
rarely works. That rarely works. So you should definitely follow trends. You should find highly viral videos, but never copy them. You can always switch up a few things, change the headlines, change the intro, change the hook, and you're also selling a different product too. So if you can make it your own but follow a template that's currently working, you have a much bigger chance to go viral, and one video can change everything for you. One video can
Yeah.
make you a lot of money and also increase your followers so that you can sell
Yeah.
to customers who already bought from you, which is actually what you need to focus on a lot. People who already bought from you will likely buy again. You can make a
Yeah.
lot of money that way.
And
Yeah.
I know that also people will try to understand like how much time they need to get a result, on social media, for example. That can happen overnight, and that is possible. We have seen so many like examples that did, like you're posting every day, but you need to post every day like consistently. So like you're posting today 2 videos, tomorrow 1 video, the next day 3 videos, and
Yeah,
all of the videos are great. And as Tola mentioned, you're following the trend, and everything is all right. You will notice that one day when you will wake up from sleeping, you will see on the one video you have like 50K views. On the other video you have 20K, and all of the videos that you posted will blow out. So every video that you post has its own work to do later when the account
Yeah.
boosts.
Yeah.
So
And
it's working.
yeah,
yeah.
and
I remember
especially
my
with
first. Sorry, Tina.
I just wanted to say, like, especially with TikTok, like it's totally possible. Like I've even seen some
Yeah,
people's like their first video goes viral, which is insane,
Yeah,
right? Well,
yeah, yeah.
obviously, the second one won't be as viral, but you have that like, legitimacy with that one video
yeah,
for your brand, and it's like so you just got to get out there and try things and do things, and if you
Yeah.
post enough, it's gonna go. Sorry, Stola, I interrupted you.
yeah. I wanted to mention that you never really know with these platforms, but you need to make the algorithms trust you. You need to make the platforms trust you, which is why you should create a lot of quality content. It's not always about the quantity. Although if you can have quantity and quality, that's the best you can do.
Yeah.
But I know with a lot of people, it's not always the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
one thing to not forget, uh, don't think about buying fake followers. That's the worst thing that you can do. Because when you buy a fake followers,
you
you will
lose.
get instantly shadow ban on Instagram. No one will see your story, your video, your post, or anything.
Yeah, so
Don't buy.
people think the new followers will trust them, but the platform doesn't trust you. And if the platform doesn't trust
Yeah.
you, they don't put it. It doesn't push your content.
Yes, yes.
It can even stop. It like goes like 10 views, and all of the next 50 videos can have only 10 views,
Yeah.
regardless of how good they are. So you need to be
Yeah.
careful with that.
For sure. Oh my God, you guys just dropped some knowledge bombs right there. I want to ask you so many follow up questions, but unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time left. So, for everyone watching, I know we, barely touched the surface on all of these like huge topics when it comes to drop shipping. If you'd like to get more like one-on-one time with Stola and Filip. We're actually going to have them over in DSCom Hub next Monday to answer some more in-depth questions. So we'll follow up with that. If you want to join, you'll have a chance to ask like questions that you'd like to ask them and maybe get feedback on your store, on your ads over in DSCom Hub. But now I'm just going to quickly divert our attention to the comment section right here because we have some questions from the viewers. So the first one is, can we get a recorded video? I wasn't here from the start. Yes, we will share a recording of this video. A question for Stola. Is Shopify still good for dropshipping, or can you suggest any other platform?
It's great. You should
When you
use Shopify.
nodded your head, I thought he was going to say, like, it's dead.
I mean,
It
we,
is
we
like
use
no.
Shopify with everyone. We've never switched from Shopify. It just makes everything so simple and easy.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
smooth to work on Shopify. I totally
Definitely.
agree with
And
Story.
you have like a bazillion plugins you can use for everything. Like they're in the App Store, so you can find literally a solution for everything. You want a custom button here, you have a tool. You want a timer, you have a tool. You want something changed in the the cart, the checkout, you have a tool. So it's infinitely customizable. And if
Yeah,
you know
but
how to code, then you don't need anything else.
for the people who are currently on WooCommerce or WordPress, it's not that you must switch now to Shopify, because
Yeah.
WordPress and WooCommerce are still great. You know, if the store is working, everything is perfectly, though you don't need to change now and make all that problems that will appear while changing to Shopify.
I mean, it
So
all comes down to what you're comfortable with.
yes,
If you know how to use WooCommerce, if you learn about WooCommerce or any of the other platforms, then just use it. It's not really a huge deal. You shouldn't really worry about that too much for which platform to use. You should worry more about type of content you'll produce, your ads, your product, your niche, your supplier, not as much on the platforms you're going to use.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, another one that just came in. What are the most important factors to consider when selecting suppliers for dropshipping? A
Important
difficult
factors.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot, but I would say definitely, the shipping times. That's a huge factor that a lot of people are looking at first. So when someone wants to buy a product from you or from your store, they will check how long it takes for it to arrive. Also, you can look at reviews about the quality and the delivery of the products. So if a supplier has a lot of refunded products, a lot of people complaining about the products not coming in good shape, that's definitely a red flag. And obviously, different suppliers have different prices, so you should look at that too. So don't think that the price is the same for the product on each supplier.
yeah.
Different suppliers
Right.
will have a different price for the exact same product. It's not
Right. So
always the
do
case.
your research. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. And then
definitely research. It all comes down to that research.
another one we have. What is the minimum budget to start drop shipping with Shopify?
Budget for advertising, I would suggest you $300. It's okay. The minimum. So you can spend like $10 a day for a
Yeah,
one campaign.
yeah.
Yeah. And then how do I choose the right products to drop ship? This is like a
There,
follow-up question to the previous one because they're from the same person.
there are a whole lot of ways to find good products, but there's a very useful tip that we've all used, and it's actually stayed the same for a lot of years, is to either find products, as I think I mentioned this, that solve a really big problem. So people have problems and new problems every day. So if you can find a product that solves a huge problem, but is not available at down the road on the store or at Walmart or all the other big stores, then you will have higher chances of selling it and branding it as well. So
Yeah.
a lot of products are saturated. So this is something to keep in mind. You have to catch the trends early, but it's okay if you're a bit late, as long as it's not available everywhere. So you can
Yeah.
be too late too.
Yeah. Yeah,
It,
definitely.
once again, the answer is research. You have to go online, go on social media. So if you see a new product popping up all the time for the previous 2 3 days, you're on time to start selling it too. So create a different brand, offer much more value than your competitors. Try to offer better prices if you can, until you build up a good following, and you can beat a lot of the new competitors.
Yeah. Guys, oh my God, what an amazing session. And you managed to pack all this, like, I would say, like, gold in this past hour. We are unfortunately running out of time, so we're gonna have to end here. But for everyone that's still watching, if you had some questions you wanted to ask them, again, we're gonna follow up and invite you over at DSCom Hub. If you want to join, you can ask your questions there because we're gonna have Filip and Stola again over there. Also, for everyone interested, you can check out their agency. Is at adiku.com.
Yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
Yep.
I
Yes.
hope I did. Okay, great. So it's like adiku.com. And yeah, like this was such an amazing conversation. We hope to have more of these. So stay
Yeah.
tuned. And thank you, Stola and Filip, for your time and sharing all this knowledge with our viewers. It was really, really amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us, Tina, too. Really great time.
Thank
We
you.
hope to do it again too.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we'll be there are a lot of follow-up questions for sure.
Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. Maybe a
Yeah.
hundred more sessions, and we'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't mind because you guys are such joy to talk to. But yeah, maybe next time we'll invite another guest if you don't mind, and then we'll discuss having you back again because there's definitely more to learn from your experience and just personal stories. So thank you
Yeah.
again. Have a nice evening, morning for everyone watching wherever you're joining us from, and we're gonna see you in the next one. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.